All right, so here we are looking at the purchase transaction example. So I'm going to switch applications to better serve you guys in solving this problem, okay? All right, so here we are looking at this example. So example number 2. So we have Hoffman Company purchase merchandise on account. So hopefully that's registering in your mind. On account means accounts payable, right? So anyways, they're purchasing inventory on account from a supplier for $65,000 and the terms is 110 net 30. Now in the prior example, it was 210. So we can swap it out to, it could be a 1, it could be a 3, it could be a 5. The number, the 1 represents, it still represents the percentage or the discount, okay? So Hoffman returned $7,500 of the merchandise and received full credit. So in A, if Hoffman Company pays the invoice within the discount period, what is the amount of the cash required for the payment? Now that's a lot. Let's just break down what just happened, okay? All right. So let's look at this first with us buying this inventory, okay? All right. All right, so we're buying this inventory. So again, if we're doing it, our journal entry, we're gonna do a debit to inventory. And our credit, because it's on account, that means accounts payable. Now, what amount exactly should we record? Now, as previously mentioned in a prior video, we're always going to record this transaction with the discount included. Otherwise, we would be leaving money on the table. So to calculate this, we're going to do the 65,000 times 99%, right? Because the discount is 1%, so that's what we do not have to pay. So if we multiply this times 99%, we come up with an amount of $64,350, okay? So that's gonna be my inventory debit of $64,350 and my credit of accounts payable, my IOU, I promise to pay you later, okay? All right, so that's what that looks like. Now, Hoffman returned $7,500 of the merchandise and received full credit. All right, so if we're going to return some inventory, right, which means we're no longer going to have it, we are going to do a debit of accounts payable, and then we're going to do a credit of inventory. Now, inventory is going to be a credit because we're giving it back, right? We're returning it, right? This is no different from maybe you're buying product from maybe whatever, Amazon or JCPenney's, and you're returning it, right? You're refunding it to them or you're returning it to them. Your inventory will decrease. Now, let's talk about the amount, right? So if you bought this inventory with a discount, you can only return it with the same discount applied, okay? So you can't, it would not be $7,500 that you would get back. No, okay? So just imagine for a second that if you bought something from, say, any retail store, right, and you gave them a coupon, if you return that inventory, they're not going to give you the full amount, the original full amount of that, what's on the tag, because you never paid for that inventory. You never paid for that inventory for the full amount. It was a discount applied to it the moment you purchased it. So when you return it, it will be returned with a discount as well, okay? So with that said, when you return $7,500 of inventory, you have to apply the 1% or the 99%, right? So if I did that, what I'm really saying is what they're going to return to me is $7,425, right? So I'm going to do a debit to accounts payable in $7,425, and my credit is going to be $7,425 in regards to inventory. Now my accounts payable is being debited because I'm returning it. I no longer owe that. That IOU is no longer outstanding because I'm returning it, right? It's no longer mine. So I'm only going to pay with what I kept, right? So that's what my journal entry looks like. And so it says, what account? Oh, sorry. So I actually didn't answer the question yet. So it says, if Hoffman pays the invoice within the discount period, what is the amount of cash required for payment? Well, here's my original purchase, and then I returned a portion, which was this. And so what is due is the remaining. So the way I go about this is I'm going to do, okay, my original purchase was for $64,350. I returned $7,425. So the difference of what I owe, right, less my return, is going to be in the amount of $56,925. Okay, so I bought it, returned a portion, and now what I owe is this amount. Okay. All right, it says MB, what account is debited by Hoffman Company to record the return? Well, I kind of gave it away, but I'm doing a debit to accounts payable. It is a debit to accounts payable because I am returning it. Therefore, I no longer owe this money. Okay. All right, hopefully that made sense. All right, so moving right along, now we're talking about returns and allowances. Okay, so returns and allowances is usually whenever you're returning a product, especially if you're a corporation, the buyer, when we're buying it, the buyer sends a debit memo to the seller saying, hey, we no longer want these products, and they usually give their reasons, like if it's damaged or something like that. So allowance is also like if something is damaged or defective, they'll usually give you can think of an allowance as store credit, all right? So I would say an allowance is store credit. That's a good example of it, right? So they're saying, hey, instead of returning it, here's some store credit or something like that, okay? So when the buyer sends the seller a debit memo, they are doing a debit to accounts payable and a credit to inventory, as we saw in our prior example. And so then my next question asks, can a buyer return merchandise before paying for the invoice? So hopefully your answer to that question is yes, absolutely. We're not required to hang on to that inventory at all, right? We all have reasons why we would want to